Greetings friends, wisdom and health to you. Today in the Samari Club we are parsing a fascinating, informative and useful video on the path of self-development, about psychological problems in self-esteem, and most importantly about how to motivate yourself to succeed, and so, how to organize your life in such a way as to live easily for your pleasure, but be in demand as a highly qualified specialist. This will tell Rubshtein Nina Valentinovna, a famous Russian gestalt therapist, sought-after psychologist, writer and coach, is known for breaking up stale thinking patterns and replacing them with flexible strategies, such as in the online webinar Motivation: How to Move Yourself from the Dead Point, to which we have prepared for you today in a brief review. In it, she helps people who seek help gain confidence, teaches them how to defend their interests, resolve conflicts with dignity, and teaches them how to set high goals and achieve them easily and effortlessly. As Nina Rubshtein herself states, "My mission is to contribute to the maximum possible development of human potential for the evolutionary development of humanity as a whole. I gather people who want to maximize their skills, abilities and talents to benefit themselves and people." True, we should note that most people of the post-Soviet space are not accustomed to solving their problems with the help of professionals in the field of psychology. And, nevertheless, we recommend you to listen to the advice of this well-known gestalt therapist. Perhaps this will help you not only to think about the meaning of your life, but even better, to find the resources within yourself to fundamentally change your real life for the better by making your desires come true. The most common problems, so let's start at the beginning. Nina Rubshtein often conducts online meetings in which she gives live answers to questions for people who want to get sensible advice from a well-known psychologist. In our review of the online webinar on motivation, we will briefly describe what questions people came to this meeting with and what specific advice they received. We think that these answers will be useful to anyone who is interested in how to transform their thinking so that they can easily and effortlessly come to success, and we can distinguish three main areas that were asked of the psychologist from the questions: fear of facing negativity and fear of failure. 2. Don't know what I want now in life, plus there is disappointment in what was, tell me where to go now, and come to success. I often quit what I started in the middle and don't know how to get to the end result. Why the motivation ends. Nina Rubshtein responds that if a person's motivation is based only on positive emotions and expectations of a quick result, it is only natural that his motivation runs out very quickly. After all, not every case can be organized and solved quickly. Sometimes you need to show restraint and patience, and sometimes a positive result can be obtained only after a series of failures. Expecting a quick result from the task at hand is quite acceptable. But in adulthood, we must be able to process our negative emotions and thoughts. If you are immersed in negativity, scolding and criticizing yourself after the first mistakes, it will not help you to achieve a positive result in the future. But there is a way out, in the state where you realize that the negative emotions are already overtaking you. Just talk them out. Tell yourself that you are now angry because you have failed, you are stressed because you are failing at something. That, yes, you were counting on a positive result and did not expect that you would have to face failure in this part of the journey. But in general it is normal, and failures only bring us closer to the final success, and that not to get upset is just the habit of the most successful and wise people. Why? Because these negative experiences contain the energy for the journey ahead. You just need to release this energy, not conserve it in yourself in the form of negative emotions. If you don't succeed at something, try to analyze why you were unsuccessful at that particular thing.
Subscribe to the Summary Club and watch short versions of the most popular and useful videos every day.
Self-psychotherapy for successful people. But what does it mean to live an emotion in practice? It means to live those emotions bodily, that is, to let them pass through the body. Learn this from children. If you feel like screaming or crying, do it. Why is it important to do that? Because if you don't have emotions, then you probably don't have the energy to do anything at all. And naming the emotion and speaking it out gives you an opportunity to take control of it. Fear of failure is, first of all, an idea strongly believed in. In fact, it is better to be angry, but to keep doing something, to keep moving toward a result, than to tell yourself that nothing will work and sit doing nothing. Any experiences and ideas that you direct at yourself, one way or another, motivate you to succeed or not to fail. But if you bring negative emotions out through yourself, it's still automatic and doesn't mean that all the emotions will immediately transform into positive energy. But this analysis will allow you, at the very least, to release tension and switch to something good. I say stupid and nasty things to myself. It keeps me from moving forward. You say that and see how your body reacts. It's important to capture those thoughts and replace them with ones that can motivate you, directing your attention to what you're good at. In essence, you are simply changing your mindset through sheer force of will. And so, yes, those who say that anything is possible are right. But only if you have the energy to implement your ideas. But if you have too much on your plate, it's only natural that you won't have the energy to do even the most basic things. Therefore, it is important at the beginning of an audit of their leisure time and discard those things that do not improve your life in any way. It's also a misconception that spending all your time on social networks does nothing to add to your energy. It's a misconception that by talking on social networks you supposedly get relaxation and rest. To rest is to lie in a relaxed position, completely eliminating all thoughts in your head. Would you be able to do that? 15 minutes of this kind of real relaxation gives you energy for the whole day. The best rest is a change of activity. There is another widespread belief that rest can only be when you switch to a different kind of activity. But one can argue with this assertion. After all, by switching our attention from one activity to another, we only change the type of brain activity. But we don't give our bodies or our brains a rest. What happens when you rest? You restore strength, normalize the processes in the body, digest energy and the information received. You turn off the nervous activity system and turn on the physical body's recovery system. If a person is unable to turn off the mental dialogue, then various bodily practices, such as yoga or meditation, are indicated for such people. It is also good for such people to take a walk in the park or in nature for recreation. Nina Rubshtein's recommendations for motivation. Well, from all of the above, we can highlight this basic tenet: we move only when we feel the need to move. A person is filled with energy only when he does something with pleasure. But if a person forces himself to some activity, it can only lead to a loss of energy. After all human needs answer the question, what do I want? Well, if a person does not have a pressing need to do something, then motivation will never appear, and such a person will be very difficult to motivate artificially. But if you honestly admit to yourself that your problem is only your need, and that only you need it, you will be able to look differently at the things that need to be done. Just be honest with yourself. The second important thing you have to be honest with yourself about is whether you want to have the experience you have to go through on the way to the cherished goal. You may have to negotiate with yourself at first. Yes, like with a small child, by rewarding you for the steps you take with something that will help motivate you to continue, so that you don't lose interest in what you're doing. It's also important to alternate periods of activity and passivity. And it's also very important to ask questions every step of the way: what you need it for, what it gives you, and what results await you at each stage of activity. To do this, you need to write a real plan of action. Then any task will be up to you, and you will not be afraid of an impossible burden. Make it a habit to rejoice in the smallest successful steps on the way to your goal. And if at some point you fail, do not be frightened by these failures. Take a breath and exhale, honestly admit to yourself that it was a mistake, and with renewed vigor proceed to what you started before. There is no catastrophe in facing failure. In the end, all disasters are only in our heads and in our beliefs of right and wrong. As life goes on, everything is an experience of knowing the world and ourselves in the world. So, let's summarize everything that was said before. In order to motivate yourself to succeed, you need to clearly understand your goals and objectives. You need to feel the need to solve the tasks at the level of bodily reactions. You need to clearly understand that the road to success is not always smooth and easy. And most importantly, you need to be honest with yourself. Love yourself and praise yourself for the smallest successes to develop a positive algorithm for solving problems. These are our tips together with Nina Rubshtein for today. Maybe you also have your own experience and recommendations how to motivate yourself which help you personally. Share it in the comments, we'll discuss it and we'll be grateful. And of course, look forward to more relevant short summaries of advice and video reviews from Nina Rubshtein and other respected psychologists and well-known teachers of the past and present. And friend, don't forget to subscribe to the Summary Club for becoming more successful, educated, kinder and wiser every day. Save hundreds of hours and dollars spending on boring regular education. Feel free to write your opinions and questions about each video. We read all the comments. In addition, go to our official website, where you can find reading materials or watch other videos on channel and links in the description. All the best.